the final countdown. We are less than 6 hours away from tip-off of Game 1 of the NBA Finals between the Mavs and the Celtics right here in TD Garden. Welcome to Countdown to the Finals presented by ESPN Bet. He is our senior NBA insider, Adrian Wojnarowski. She's the one and only Chiney Ogwumike. The champion of the bald community, Richard Jefferson, is here with us. And the champion with the Boston Celtics, Kendrick Perkins. Guys, this is it. I know you know exactly, Perk, what it is like to be lacing them up in this building, on this stage. Help us lay the groundwork here. What is this like for these players?
I mean, you're nervous until the jump ball, but at the end of the day, it's time to get your feet hot. It's time to get your feet hot. But this is the time that you lean on the others in the locker room because everybody have the same emotions. Everybody are going through the same situations, whether that's buying tickets for the family members, whatever the case may be. But today is the day that you set your mind, you go through your regular routine, and you try to embrace the moment at the same time.
We've been talking about this for days, right? Waiting for Game 1 of the NBA Finals. Now that it's finally here, Rich, what are you most looking forward to?
The game. That's what I'm looking forward to, the game. It's like, look, I understand this, and I've been on both sides. I've been here in the media side, and I've been the player. We've been sitting down, breaking down everything. Look at the plays and how they're going to go, and what are the matchups, and this person's health, and who should guard. Man, we don't know anything up here. We don't know anything that's going to happen on that court until it happens, and then we dissect it. That's the part that I'm most excited about.
Speak for yourself, Richard Jefferson. I'm excited for this game, and I am excited for this matchup because we've got two of the greatest, if you talk about duos in the NBA, two of the greatest duos that have isolation games in their bag, and also teams that are looking to make legacies based off of how they close. We know Kyrie's been there, done that. Luka has been the most phenomenal player overall, but then you look at the Celtics, we're here for a reason. They earned home court to have every benefit go towards them winning a championship.
In a lot of championship series, playoff series, the team with the best player often wins.
Yeah.
Boston, I think, clearly has the deepest, most talented team. I think Dallas has the best player in Luka Doncic, and maybe outside of Nikola Jokic, the player in the league who can really control the last 5-6 minutes of a game, and that separates him from almost everybody. It'll be fun to see how that plays out in the series.
This is the stage where stars are made, and for 2 years, Jason Tatum has been stewing on falling short in 2022. He has been thinking about how he could have left more out there. He's coming off averaging 30, 10, and 6 in the conference finals, and still he wasn't the conference finals MVP. I am looking forward to seeing what he brings in his home building, knowing that he has been waiting to sort of exercise these demons for years and years. I'm really looking forward to seeing that. And Game 1, it is important. The winner of Game 1 can be indicative of who ends up winning the rest of the series. If Director Kathy, we can pull up this full screen here just to show everybody, because they go on to win more often than not. The Celtics, they have been stuck right on banner number 16. For banner number 17, rather, for 16 years. And so their quest for 18, it continues tonight. You were on the floor. But their quest for banner number 18, it continues tonight. It would break a tie with the Los Angeles Lakers, of course. Celtics, they've been favored to win the championship every single day since the season began as they look to go wire to wire as title favorites. By contrast, the Mavericks, they were never a top 5 title favorite during the regular season. The Mavs, they are plus 180 underdogs to win the series. So if they do so, they would tie the 2016 Cavs, hey Richard, for the third largest finals upset in the last 40 seasons, trailing only the 2004 Pistons and the 2019 Raptors. And the Celtics, they were underdogs in just a total of 3 games all season long. That is tied for the fewest by a team to reach the finals this century. The Mavs, they were underdogs, by contrast, 42 times. So, as Zach Lowe joins us in person, do you think that the Celtics, they deserve to be this big of a favorite over the Boston Celtics?
Yeah, they do. 64 games, number 1 offense, number 2 defense, and they're not huge favorites. Like, people are giving the Mavs a chance. Plenty of people are picking the Mavs, and Celtics in 6, Celtics in 7. Those are compliments to the Mavs. This has been the most dominant team from start to finish. They have home court advantage. They don't play as well at home as they need to. Maybe that changes now. But yeah, why not? They deserve to be favorites.
Someone say something, my God. I mean, yes, look. They have the better team, especially on paper. They have the best starting 5 in basketball. With Kristaps Porzingis in the lineup, think about it. They have 5 all-star caliber players. They have home court advantage. I believe they have the most experience, right? Al Horford, he's been to the NBA Finals. Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, NBA Finals. Drew Holiday won the NBA championship. They have the most experience. They should be the favorite. But I will say this.
Ooh.
The game is won between the lines. And just because you have the personnel on paper, you still have to perform and be ready to get those feet high.
And I thought what Woj just said was interesting. The best player on the floor may be on the Dallas Mavericks.
Maybe. There's no maybe. There's no maybe.
And oftentimes you look at, okay, who's the best player on the floor, and you give that team the nod.
That's different. I think in certain series you do that. When you get to the NBA Finals, the NBA is not won by having the best player. It's by having the best team. But oftentimes when you have the best player, that's a very good starting block, right? That's a good starting block. So whenever you go into a series, you look at this one and you say, yes, they might have the best player in the series. But, maybe it's Kyrie, but 2 through 6 is on Boston.
Right.
So, it's not as, LeBron James, in my opinion, in 18 might have been the best player in the series, but the Golden State Warriors had an absolute whip with them, so there was nothing that he could do. So it's not always like a perfect translation.
Yeah. I mean, Jason Tatum is probably not the best player in the series because we all understand that it is Luka Doncic. But the reality is that's not how this team was technically designed. They were designed to be a collection of stars that could get them to this point where we're literally watching them finish the regular season 12 games up and also have home court in the NBA Finals. That's how they were designed. They were also designed to withstand maybe some off games. That's why we saw Jaylen Brown win Eastern Conference Most Valuable Player. Should they be the favorites? Abso-freaking-lutely, yes. Do y'all know where the Mavs were?
Tell them, Pinky. Tell him, Pinky.
Wow. Brain.
Thank you. Pinky is preaching. Why? Because the Mavs, they had 25-1 odds to make it to the NBA Finals when this started. Things changed at the trade deadline, and then they became one of the best teams in basketball. But consistently, as you mentioned, Malika, over the course of the regular season and the postseason, it's been the Boston Celtics.
And now we're getting the scoring champ in the regular season versus the best team in the NBA, something we haven't gotten since '98 when MJ played producer Contis' Utah Jazz. But bettors are feeling a little bit conflicted too. A lot of people are picking the series in 6, picking it in 7. But look at this. Odds makers see Boston as the favorite. The public going the other way. ESPN Bet reported 89% of bets on the series are on Dallas to win. So clearly there are plenty of people who the Mavs are rolling with. How can they pull off this upset, Zach?
Well, they have the best player, and we know Luka Doncic is going to break every defense you throw at him. It's just a matter of time. You drop back, he's going to break it. You blitz, he's going to break it. You play in between, he's going to break it. He will break the Celtics defense. The Celtics have to switch it up tons of different times, and that's the only way to sort of contain him. So that's step one, have the best guy, and if he breaks the Celtics defense and they don't have an answer, the Mavs can win. Perk is going to make his big list. I got my big list, but it's Perk's big list of players 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If we get to the end of the series and Kyrie is 2 and Luka is 1, or if it's like a tie for 2, the Mavericks are winning the championship.
Oh, yeah. I agree with you 100%. But that's why Kyrie can be...
game show.
We started waiting. Guys, we got hours. We got hours. No game is won in the first quarter, okay? So we got hours to do up here. No, look, when you talk about how can the Mavericks pull this off, we know that the Celtics, they're good to give away a game. We know that they're good to give away a game that they shouldn't. They do it all the time, right? We know that they're not great at home. They're not great at home. The Celtics aren't. So
be careful, Richard. I heard the people are looking at us now.
I don't care. Look, I've beat them 3 times in the postseason. They're already
okay, all right, okay.
I'm just saying, if they hate me now, they're going to hate me later. Who cares? My point is this. You know the Celtics give away a game, right? They have. Over the course of the postseason, it's like they lose a game that they shouldn't, and you just kind of feel a certain way, and then we overreact to it, and then they respond and answer. But then they also don't play well at home. So if you look at that, they're a great team. There are an engine, but there are holes in that engine. And the Dallas Mavericks play great basketball for, I'd say, 5 games. They need 5 games of great basketball because you can play great and still lose.
Think about it. The Boston Celtics, they love to spread you out. Okay, Al Horford, Kristaps Porzingis, they're going to be on the wing. How can you cover them and protect the interior, right? This is a huge adjustment for him. He's not going to be able to be sitting, 2-9 and then doing those things the way that the Celtics play. What?
No, you know what's interesting, Perk? You say something that is insightful, and I think about it. I'm like, oh, he's been the best big in the postseason, and then I started like doing the math. There's been Holmgren, there's been Rudy, there's been Cap, there's been no Porzingis, and Lively was 16 for 16 in the conference finals. When he went down, they lost. He is their energy booster. Thank you, the energy booster. So I think a lot of times people hear these things, they're like, what is Perk talking about?
I agree.
But I went down the list in my head in real time. And you are right. His impact and able to finish. Dallas has the most lobs, layups, dunks. Again, I said 16 for 16.
Yep.
He is the energy provider. So you're right. He has been the most active. He may not be the biggest name, the biggest star, but he is a star in his role, and that's why they're in the finals.
He has an old soul.
Hey, can we count it out?
You don't find rookies that the best thing that happened. You remember the game? I forgot it was during the Minnesota series. He was mic'd up, and you could hear him anchoring the defense because the first thing of actually having a great defensive team is having a defensive center that's going to communicate even when he's not involved in the action.
And being excited for your teammates, because everyone talks about Luka getting Rudy on an island, but did you see Lively turned around so excited for his teammates?
And catching up with him yesterday, he understands that he's coming into this, he told me, with a learning mindset, a learning mentality. He knows he hasn't been quite on this stage before, but he's ready to sort of soak up that knowledge from his teammates because he wants to be that for his guys. Because what did you say? He could be the third best player on the Dallas.
He's often the third best player on the Mavericks. But this whole segment was a compliment to the Celtics because we how are the Mavericks going to win? And we ticked off Kyrie's got to play well, Luka's got to play well, role players got to play well. They got to contain the rim, contain the three.
And that's
the enemy they're up against. You got to be perfect.
And that's it. Dallas has to be exceptional. Boston just has to be very, very good.